honors the earth. Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
It's time to experience the amazing flavors of eatlocalminnesota.com. It's your key to unlocking the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. See how eatlocalminnesota.com can point you to that perfect one-of-a-kind spot. If you're craving barbecue, then don't drive too fast or you will miss Scott Jamama's Hot Barbecue, located at 3 West Diamond Lake Road in Minneapolis. Scott Jamama's offers mouth-watering baby back ribs, grilled chicken, and half-pound pulled pork sandwiches. The potato salad, spicy baked beans, and twice-baked potatoes should not be missed. More details at scottjamamas.com. Explore the award-winning spirited Midwestern flavors at 30 Bales in Hopkins. Priding themselves as a scratch kitchen using the cleanest, most local ingredients they can source, join 30 Bales for lunch, dinner, or their scrumptious weekend brunch. Conveniently located at 1106 Main Street in Hopkins with plenty of free parking. See their menu at 30bales.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 24, then Saturday, sunshine with a high of 37. Cafe Latte is unlike any restaurant you've ever experienced. Grab a tray and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. Cafe Latte, Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul, or cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. What day is it? It's Friday. It's Casual Friday. This is our, wonderful time of the week where we let down our hair and we just experience the wonders of getting into the weekend. And of course, it's always exciting. And, as always, we leave Casual Friday open to listeners to let us know what you'd like to talk about tonight, anything on your mind, anything from this past week that you want to talk about. You're more than welcome to do so. In the second segment, we're going to be joined by Joe Prosit. If you might remember him, as the author of the, I don't know if it's upcoming anymore, but we'll ask him about it, the From Order trilogy of books that are going to be available, if not available already. We're going to touch base with him about that in the second segment. And then we have news, and I just want to just get some idea from you all. I'm going to talk about that. So anybody, okay, we've had quite the week, okay? I'm just going to be very honest. If you've listened to the show this week, it's been a bit of a roller coaster of emotion because we start off the week, and I do want to say, I think Monday's episode with Cindy Sauer might have been the darkest episode of GhostBox Radio we've ever done. We talked about her possession, demonic possession, the exorcism, and it's ascended exorcism, which means that it is, basically truly, we hear about people doing exorcisms. We see it on the paranormal shows. Those are not given any real approval by any church to do it. An ascended exorcism means that it's approved by the church to do it. And she had 2 of them. So that alone. And plus I pray for her. I think that there is something very wrong that is attached to her. And I pray that that gets taken care of. Tuesday, we had Lyle Blackburn on, and that was a lot of fun, except over here, we had some technical difficulty. I've been trying to get Lyle Blackburn for like a mere 8 years. And we finally get him, and the system starts glitching. maybe it's a Matrix situation. I'm not sure. Maybe it was something where like we were seeing the reality that we really live in. I don't really know, but it was really disappointing. He sounded great, but he always sounds great. Who am I kidding? But yeah, it was really unfortunate, and I was hoping Lyle wasn't annoyed by all that, but he had his own problems, I guess, on his end, and he decided well he's going to come back at some point. We're going to maybe just do a redo. I didn't even put the episode up for podcast. That's how technically glitchy it was, and really not very good. So he was great, but even my own focus, because as you might know, I'm here by myself. So there, as it's all falling apart around me, and make no mistake, it was. As it was all falling apart around me, I'm trying to carry on an interview. And you could, if you listen to it, but you won't be able to because I have not posted the podcast for it. But if you listen to it, you could tell I'm just like, tell us in great detail of your book. And then I'd go off and I would try to salvage what's left of this radio show. And he took it all right. And then on Wednesday, we had Scott Porter from, part of the Tennessee Wraith Chasers at the time. Now he's doing a show on Fox Nation with Stephanie Burke, his girlfriend, and it's called Secrets of the Asylum. And my gosh, I don't really watch a lot of paranormal shows anymore because I think that they're very, they really go out of their way to be very, exploitative. They don't investigate the way that I think they should, which isn't like my way is the only way, but I don't know if respect is the only way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I see that being, used throughout the field now. So it's a very disappointing situation. And then, but he does it right. The show's done right. It's actually done. The production company is called Painless that does it. And why is that important? They're the people that do the Dead Files, amongst other programs. So, he's in good hands. He has good people working with him. And so it's a great program. If you can get Fox Nation, I mean, you have to sign up for it, but sign up for it and stream the program. It's 6 episodes for the first season. It's really very good. And what I like about it, it's not they get something to start screaming or they try to scare anybody. And Stephanie, who is a very talented psychic medium, she is really good at underplaying the situation, which I think really helps. And they want to help. They want to help spirits there as well. So it's very good. And I would really recommend that you all take part and watch it. But then last night we had Moon Girl, the mistress of paranormal, on again. She's a good friend of mine, and I've known her for some time. And we were, excuse me, I have a cough. We were doing Chinese face readings. She had a couple pictures of me and doing face readings, and it's very in depth. It's not like sitting down in front of a medium. What she's doing is that she is, reading the situation, seeing what the facial, whether or not you have like lines coming out of the side of your eyes or wrinkles here or moles here, or as we found out, the hairline that's in the shape of an M, and then from there, she's putting together who you are basically. And so we spent a great deal of time doing that yesterday, and it was it was really interesting. And it's weird, they're just talking about me for an hour about how I just exist, I guess, based on all sorts of things. But that talking about other forms of divination, as Mandy puts into the comments, she brings up banana peels. And that was really what was really funny as a divination. I shouldn't laugh because all of these were important to somebody. A divination is also like reading tea leaves. Todd Gatewood in the comments last night said that it was apple peels that they did. So, I mean, they shouldn't be laughing, but apparently the banana one is if you're with the person and the person doing the divination, she would have a bunch of bananas laid out. And if it was reading me, I would pick a banana. And then I thought at first that I would eat the banana, but in fact, she eats the banana. And then as she eats the banana, she reads the banana peel, kind of the way that you read uh, a tea leaf or something. So there are things in the banana leaves that apparently kind of gives you some sort of insight into a type of person you are. Once again, I shouldn't laugh because all of this is important to somebody, but it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's a little strange. Even Moon Girl's like, well, I don't do that, but it's really interesting, and it's also really interesting with how bizarre it kind of all sounds. Like we were joking last night. I read it. It's like weird kind of cheesy, crappy pickup lines like, "Hey, baby, I can read your hairline," and stuff like that, which is like, all right, sure, it's can I read your banana peel? It's like, yeah, we're giving people bad ideas. Look out at the next Paracon. I'm sure that that's going to be employed, as well as she talked about. She had a name for the lips. I don't know if anyone remembered the lips. There was something about the lips. I think it started with an A. Not adventurous lips, not but it was something. It's like, boy, this is this is really pretty funny, actually. But so that was a good night. That was a lot of fun. It was fun to laugh, and she was dead on. She was dead on about me. There's stuff that she read about the type of person I am. It's not so much about like what I'm going to be doing or where I'm going to go in life. It's more like this is the type of person you are. And it was very interesting. It was very good, actually. So next week we'll be going in different areas, but I got a lot of people who are like, let's get Moon Girl back on the show, and I'm more than happy to oblige in that. She is very, very good. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is not super paranormal at all. It could be, but it reminds me of something else, actually. I went to a place tonight. I had dinner with some folks, and we had a place called the Pizza Factory, which I've never been to. That's out in Big Lake, and that was really, really good. I was told it's very good, and then having it was amazing. Where do you all go for really good pizza? And I'm not talking like a chain. There's nothing wrong with the chains. I like my Pizza Hut. I like my Domino's. But where is it that you all like to go for pizza? I'd be very interested in hearing where you like to go, especially if you're in the Twin Cities area. Another one I like to do is Pompeii Pizza out in Elk River. I'm not too far from there. There's a lot of good places. But talking about last night and stuff, and you're going to think I sound strange because it just seems so random. And I said this to someone tonight and you've listened to the program enough. And when Adam is on, there's always something that seems to happen at the station when Adam is here. And last night when I left, and so I'm in a room right here, obviously, and there's right to my left, there is a hallway. There's a glass window that I'm seeing right now. And on the other side of the hallway, there's a bunch of doors. And two down, I shut off all the lights, and I heading out, and there's a stairwell right over there. Radio folks are like, right over where? Over like to when you leave the studio area, right to the left, there's stairwells. And I just look back just to make sure everything's good. I swear, I saw a face poking out of one of the doorways, and it prompted me to step back and go and check out what was going on here. This place is a very interesting location. The stuff that's here is not bad at all, not even close, but it is interesting. And I really find it incredible. Some of the stuff that we've ran into here, both Adam, myself, if you had listened to our Halloween broadcast, it's really interesting to see like all the equipment go off that Adam had that night. The stuff that I have, I picked up a lot of scents around here, a lot of like perfume and stuff. And trust me, no one that comes down here wears perfume. I guarantee you that. And it's just a very different place at night. It's not great during the day either. I'm not saying this place is like a dump or anything. It's just that there is some energy that you can feel at this place all the time. And last night I looked and I had to go look in the room. I know there's nobody here. There's nobody here at all. There's a room behind me here, because right behind me there, for those who are able to watch, right behind me, there are windows over here. It leads into a tech room. And Adam has said that those lights just turn on by themselves sometimes, which I have yet to see. Please turn them on if you have a chance. I'd love to see it. I'd really like to see those lights turn on because I have not experienced them yet. But if they do, I'll move the camera so you can all see it. But as of yet, my encounters have been noteworthy, but relatively minimal. And I'll tell you though, after Monday's broadcast with Cindy Sauer, that was a whole different mood and vibe in this place. Those are things you got to be careful talking about. I had to go home and sage myself. So that's just how it goes. So why don't we do this? We'll come back in the next segment. We're going to have Joe Prosit on. We're going to catch up with him about his book launch. We're going to find out everything that's going on in his world. Hopefully find a way to get you copies of his book. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Hello, I'm Jody, also known as Witch Jody on social media. I opened Midwest Witchery and Healing in historic Stillwater because as a nurse, I love to help others. When you come and visit Midwest Witchery and Healing, you will find everything from divination and magical services, classes to ritual tools, jewelries, handcrafted candles, witchy gear, and much more. My store is a safe environment for all on their own unique path. Look for the purple door. Find out more at MidwestWitcheryHealing.com.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with MetamorphosisConnections.com. MetamorphosisConnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search MetamorphosisConnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on MetamorphosisConnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting MetamorphosisConnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's MetamorphosisConnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Hey there, AM 950 listeners. This is JP Bogosian, and guess who's coming back to AM 950? Starting December 2nd at 2 p.m., This Queer Book Saved My Life returns with new episodes of insightful interviews with guests and authors from across the rainbow as we explore the profound impact of queer literature on the LGBTQ+ community. Every episode will be a testament to the strength, resilience, and beauty that emerges from the pages of these life-changing books. Plus, we're thrilled to partner with AM 950 to present The Gaily Show. That's right, we will have not one, but two LGBTQ shows from 2 to 3 p.m. every Saturday. On The Gaily Show, we will celebrate LGBTQ culture and entertainment right here in Minnesota and beyond. We will have electrifying local LGBTQ cultural events, hidden gems, and the new queer books, films, TV shows, and podcasts you should be reading, watching, and listening to. So join us every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. starting December 2nd. Learn more at thisqueerbook.com and am950radio.com.
And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bach, and thank you very much for joining me. It's Casual Friday. How exciting. We made it. We made it till the end of the week. Why don't you do this? If there's something you want to talk about, if the subject you want to cover, questions you want to ask, go ahead, put them in the chat. We'll address them in the third segment. But in the meantime, I am very happy that now we're going to have Mr. Joe Prosit on. How are you today, Joe?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for coming on. Joe, if you all remember, Joe was on, probably about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, something like that. We're talking about the trilogy of books that you had been working on. You had a launch party this past week. Am I right with that, or is that coming up?
Coming up this Monday. Monday the 4th at the Lookout in Maple Grove. 7 to 9 p.m. Public's welcome. We're going to have a whole bunch of family and friends there. That'll be the first time that I'll have physical copies of the books for sale this coming Monday.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I want to go. Unfortunately, I can't because I'm teaching class that night, but I will be there in spirit. Why don't we just do a quick recap of what the books are, Joe, and let us know, because we're so close now to the release. You have to be really excited by all this.
Yep. Yeah. It's exciting watching all the pieces come together. And, the book today is the first day that the book's for sale online. You can get your e-copy immediately, order your copies from Amazon and barnesandnoble.com, and also my website, joeprosit.com. But yeah, the books themselves. So it's a 3-part sci-fi cyberpunk series called From Order. First book is called 99 Town. And the way I like to describe it, if you remember that old movie, the Harrison Ford movie, Witness, where you have a modern detective who has to solve a crime in an Amish community, it's kind of like that, but fast forward both communities about 200 years into the future. So you have this man kind of from the future, from about 100 years from now, and has to go back to into a city that has banned all technology invented after 1999, hence the title 99 Town. So it's kind of your somewhat familiar cyberpunk detective novel, murder mystery, but then it kind of launches and springboards into all sorts of government conspiracy and kind of the metaphysics and what it means to be human and have free will and things like that.
I think that's fantastic. Now, we had talked a little while ago. We asked a lot of questions about your writing and whatnot. And, I was curious, when I do stuff that I really like, there's certain aspects of stuff I do, like when I edit video for a series that I'm doing or something like that. I consider some of the stuff I'm doing my own. It actually makes me comfortable because I know it's, if you will, my brand, my style. If there's something about your writing that you could go and look at and be like, I just feel good when I do this sort of this moment of writing, this type of writing, because I know that this is me. Is there something like that kind of sticks out? Any attributes or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that my writing's pretty fast-paced and energetic. And I'll tell you what, regardless of the genre, I found that I'm a sucker for car chases. And I found a way to work in a car chase. And about, I've written sci-fi, I've written horror. I'm even working on like a fantasy, and this will be far out in the future, but a fantasy novel set around the era of World War I or like Napoleonic era. And I'm still finding ways to find chases, and I love the energy of them, and I love that a good fight, a good car chase, or even a good argument, that back and forth, and that kind of almost two boxers kind of figuring each other out.
And it's strategic, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep. And there's emotions there too. If it was just two cars chasing each other, we can turn on NASCAR or whatever and get plenty of that. But it really is about the people involved and why they're running, why they're chasing, and what really is going on in their lives and what's driving them.
And I suppose there's times, especially during the editing process, that you're going to go through those moments and be like, it's too slow. right? And that like I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add some more to kind of like zip it up a little bit, or add some more. Whether it's not just car chases, whether it's a debate, argument, whatever else. What can I do to kind of punch it up a little bit? Does that happen quite a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also found times where I'll write a whole scene and I like it and it seems fun, but I look at it and I'm like, you know what? This really isn't doing a whole lot for the larger story, and I'll just cut the whole thing out. If it's not serving the larger purpose, it's not building the characters up or driving the plot forward, really doesn't belong. And that's how you keep a story moving. That's how you keep people entertained.
Yeah. It has to be hard. I mean, I know we talked about this last time, but it has to be hard sometimes, because I can imagine that there's stuff that you've written that you're just like, I really like this, but then you have to make that hard decision that this is, it's like, this is good, but is it good for the whole book, the whole series, whatever else? And having that due diligence to be like, nope, I got to stand by here and cut out the stuff that isn't working, even though it might. But I'm also assuming that you can also recycle that into other stories as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I have a whole novel that I wrote and I second drafted it, and I kind of passed it around and got some feedback, and I could tell it wasn't working. And I got the same feedback, and like this, this just needs to go back to the drawing board. So I got a whole novel that's just kind of sitting in a drawer because, I didn't feel like it was up to par.
I mean, that says a lot, because I mean, it's hard to put energy into anything. It's hard to find the time to be able to do anything, but then to be able to self edit like that and be like, nope, this isn't right. Or even I could imagine sometimes maybe the timing doesn't seem right for something maybe to be released, or not that it's not good, but maybe there's a reason that's beyond just anything, that sometimes some of that stuff might need to be held back a little bit.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I don't ever want to like push something out too forward before it's done, before it's really, it can be its best. Cause that's what I feel I owe that to, people who spend money and time to pick up my book and read it. I owe them the best product that I can make.
Absolutely. And so we're talking to Joe Prosit. He stopped by his trilogy of books from Order. We've talked about this before. They're available now, digital form you can get right now. And then there is a launch party to celebrate this journey on Monday at the Lookout in Maple Grove, which is a fantastic place. Get the roasted chicken, my friends. I mean, what now? What do you do now? You got this going, you got this out. What's happening next?
Yeah. So always something new. I'm hitting the road. I'll be in St. Cloud tomorrow at the Bazaar. So that's Bazaars and Strange, and Bazaar as in like a flea market. Set up at Tech High School tomorrow. I'll have all my books besides this new series out. Like I said, I'm holding back for the launch party. The launch party is going to be the first time anybody's ever going to be able to physically put their hands and buy those copies. But yeah, I'll be in St. Cloud tomorrow. And then let's see, Davenport on 9 and 10 December. I'll be in Rochester, January 6th and 7th, Milwaukee, and on the 20th, 21st of January, and then a whole bunch of dates on the future. So, we met at a convention, and I'll be at conventions or different craft fairs and the like. Really, I got my calendar full all the way out to this coming summer.
And I think it's worth saying, because we said this last time, but it's worth saying again, the way that people who may not quite understand, and, is it fair to say what you're doing is a small business? Because people be like, well, you're writing a book, and you are, but this really goes to show, you don't have a publicity team working behind you to get out to the books to everybody. You might have some help. I don't know, but you're there, you're going around, and you're the one that's trying to make it, be able to be accessible to people, and making yourself accessible to people and audiences so that they can really understand what these books are.
Yeah, and I really enjoy it. You asked earlier kind of what makes my writing, and kind of talk about like my favorite part is when I'm in the flow and when the words are coming out. having a ton of fun with the characters. And probably my other favorite part is being out on the road and meeting readers, and talking to them and selling those books, especially when I get return customers and they said, hey, I really like this book. I want your next one. And here it is. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has to be nice that, I mean, the sheer amount of work that you put into these and all your writing to be able to get, I mean, a little bit of satisfaction of someone being able to say, I read it and I like it. And, just kind of feedback. And I'm sure almost, any kind of constructive feedback too is probably, okay, because at least it shows that someone has read the book, they have an interest in what you're doing, and that they're invested enough to, talk to you about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is so gratifying. The past year where I've really gotten my books out there and really hit the road and met those readers has been awesome, because like I said last time I was on the show, I've written my whole life. And for the vast majority of my life, I've, kind of shared it with a few close friends, family, my wife, things like that, but not really made it public, not really made it available to people. So now that I'm able to do that and push these books out everywhere and get them in people's hands, I mean, it's a dream come true, even as small as it may be right now. And watching this whole thing grow in momentum and hearing back from those readers, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember if we talked about this last time or not, but I run into a lot of people who also are like, oh, I'd love to write. I'd love to do this. I'd love to do that. And something kind of stops them from moving forward. I mean, it's kind of something that, sure, you've been writing your whole life, but there had to been something to kind of be a catalyst of like, now it's time for me to take the next step. What would you say to those people who have always wanted to try to write and not even to be published? What is it that what advice would you give to them?
So, I mean, first, it might sound simple, but I would say just sit down and write. And if you don't want to get published, if you don't want to, deal with the scrutiny and the editing, and if you enjoy writing just for yourself, by all means, sit down and just write. Because that's what I did for years. Was I would sit down and I would write for myself. And I think you are your own first audience. And if you're enjoying the writing process from the get-go, well, then, there's a possibility that others might like it. But the first thing you got to do is just sit down and write and enjoy the process and be happy with what you come out with, and not be too hypercritical of yourself right out the gate, because nobody's, Mozart didn't sit down and crank out his concert the first time he touched a piano, right? He had to learn and spend years and years developing those talents. So yeah, I mean, there's no shortcut around writing than sitting in your butt and putting your fingers to the keyboard.
Would you recommend people who don't necessarily want to be published but would love to have to share the work for people to see? Would you recommend that they publish that stuff online, like as a blog or something, or do we run into issues of your ownership of your work and the fear of it being taken and duplicated and put out there under someone else's name? What would you, if someone wants to share for free, what would you recommend that would help them protect themselves?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've run into a tiny amount of times when I found my writing posted on some website that I've never heard of without any permission. And it's so few times that it's not even a worry to me. It's, if somebody gets a free read, but they're reading my stuff, for as little as it happens, I'm fine with that. Other people might feel differently. But what I'd recommend for people getting started out who don't necessarily want to publish right away is there are online workshops with other writers who, they can share that kind of ugly baby that is just their little thing and maybe not that great yet. And that's how I got started as well, especially with short stories, is on the online workshops. And I got a ton of good feedback, and some of it was harsh and some of it was positive. But by far that really made me a better writer and helped me cut my teeth.
Right. How do you handle the harder feedback? I mean, have you gotten better at it over the years? Have you always been pretty cool with it and just understood that that's part of the process?
Honestly, the writer feedback has never hit too hard, right? Because it's another writer on the other end, and for the vast majority of it, people are they're very careful to make it constructive criticism, and they're very kind. They're likely to, throw a bunch of positives in with that little bit of constructive criticism. What hurts or what's challenging to get over is when I started to send my stories out to publishers. And when I started to send my stories out to publishers, I started getting a lot of rejections, and rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection can wear you down.
Yeah.
But it just takes that understanding that, it's a process. And the only way to fail at a writer is the only way to fail at writing is to quit. Right.
Yep.
So if you keep writing, you keep submitting to those, if you're looking to get published in online magazines or podcasts or whatever it is, you just keep cranking out those stories and keep submitting. And eventually you get to one of those acceptances, and then it all pays off. It's like a stubborn gambler at a slot machine, right? Keep feeding it quarters. Eventually it'll pay out.
It's funny too how talking about feedback and stuff like that, you could have, at least speaking for myself, you could have a ton of people who are really into what you're doing, but you just get that one. It doesn't have to be negative, could be impartial, more just like almost like a meh sort of feedback review or something like that. And it's like, to me, sometimes it could really shade the whole thing. And I know that's not the way to look at it, but it is funny how one one negative has more power than 10 positives sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it is all about how you frame it. Like I would say, especially I'll talk submitting short stories, right? I bet my ratio to rejections to acceptances is probably, 20 to 1.
Sure.
20 rejections to that one acceptance. So, but for that one, I mean, that's all it takes, right? Because the rejections, it's an email and you delete it and it's gone. And then when you get that one acceptance, it's in that magazine or it's in that podcast, and people cared enough about it to publish it, maybe perform it with voice actors and sound effects, and it's out there in the world for people to consume, and that's great. That's by far worth the 20 rejections or 50 rejections that came before it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I just really want to make sure that if I have anything to do with it, if I have any of our listeners who are looking for, if they haven't read your work before and that they are interested in something different and a new read and something really fun, and also once again support your local authors. I mean, this is not easy work. This is not something that can just I mean, even the best authors, it takes a lot of work to get a good story out there, to get good writing out there. And I ask that everyone, if you can, please promote Joe, especially with the new trilogy that's just come out. And once again, you're going to be over at the Lookout on Monday for a launch party. Lookout in Maple Grove. Did you say it was 7 to 9?
Yep, that's right. 7 to 9. We'll be hanging out. There's really no official ceremony or anything like that. We'll have books for sale. We'll be signing them and just hanging out and having some food and some beverages. So swing by anytime and pick up some books.
And pick up some books. Go visit joeprosit.com and you can order books through there, right? I think you've mentioned that. And then
that's right.
You're going to be at the Bazaar tomorrow. What time is that at again in St. Cloud?
Yeah, that is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Tech High School. And I got the list of vendors today, and there's more than I can name. I think there's like 100 some vendors. The place is going to be packed. So regardless if you're looking for books or you're looking for crafts or, whatever Christmas gifts, come on out, Tech High School in St. Cloud, you're likely to find something.
That is fantastic. And Joe, I love to have you stay in touch. Let us know when there's some new stuff that you want to share with us. If you want to do some more readings at some point, we'd love to have you do that, Joe. I really appreciate you stopping by tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. It was good to talk with you, Greg.
absolutely. Anytime. Take care, Joe. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some UFOs, UAP, and anything else you all want to talk about, I should say. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Hello, I'm Jody, also known as Witch Jody on social media. I open Midwest Witchery and Healing in historic Stillwater because as a nurse, I love to help others. When you come and visit Midwest Witchery and Healing, you will find everything from divination and magical services, classes to ritual tools, jewelries, handcrafted candles, witchy gear, and much more. My store is a safe environment for all on their own unique path. Look for the purple door. Find out more at MidwestWitcheryHealing.com.
Feeling like people just don't get the vibrant rainbow unicorn that is your celestial essence? Have you been wondering how you stepped into this infernal, mundane timeline full of muggles, NPCs, and toilet paper shortages? Here at Magus Books and Herbs, we get you, and are staffed with real-life unicorns just waiting to help you rediscover your shine. So come explore your magical side with books, herbs, incense classes, and more at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or online at magusbooks.com.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 24, then Saturday, sunshine with a high of 37. Cafe Latte is unlike any restaurant you've ever experienced. Grab a tray and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. Cafe Latte, Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul, or cafelatte.com.
And join us Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken. You know, it's December, so we might as well start the Yuletide fun. Monday, we're going to have on author Tim Rayburn as we're going to talk about his book, Scary Book of Christmas Lore, 50 Terrifying Yuletide Tales from Around the World. And it's going to be, I love this type of stuff. And, around the world, Christmas is, there's a lot of ghost stories and stuff around Christmas time, associated with it. But in U.S., it doesn't seem as much. You keep thinking about something like Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. That's a ghost story. That's a Christmas ghost story. There's a number of British Christmas ghost stories. So this should be a very interesting program as we get ourselves into the holiday season. Very excited about it. And I just, it's always fun to do that. So check us out on Monday. I think it's going to be a great show. Now, for the last segment, if anyone has anything that they want to talk about, please put it into the comments. Otherwise, for a couple things I want to bring up. First of all, I may have mentioned I'm a Doctor Who fan, and tomorrow is the second episode of the trilogy of David Tennant episodes, and I'm really excited about that. If you had a chance to watch last week's Doctor Who episode, The Star Beast, please put in the comments what you thought of it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And the second episode, which is called The Wild Blue Yonder, airs tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun to see that. It's just exciting to be excited about the program again. And it's been off the air for so long. It's been about a year since the last new episode. The last episode of Jodie Whittaker had aired. It's nice that we are able to see some new stuff. And absolutely, yeah, we have Meep the Beep. And Mandy remembers Meep very well. It's just a lot of fun. It's very cool. And if anyone has a chance to watch it, it's on Disney Plus. So it's not, I had a lot of people. I posted last week on my Facebook page that today's the day, I'm going to be watching Doctor Who. And everyone was excited about new Doctor Who, but a lot of them didn't quite realize that it's no longer on something like BBC America or any other streaming services other than Disney Plus, and that's a big change. That's a huge change for the series. But you can also see that there is more money being spent on the show than ever before, and it was just a lot of fun. So, if you had not watched Doctor Who before, maybe give it a shot. It's a good starting point, and it's a lot of fun. And it doesn't take itself so seriously, and it's also just very accessible, which is really odd to say for a show that's been on the air. It's been around for 60 years, and it's probably been on the air for nearly 40 of those years, actually been on the air. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So, a couple things I wanted to get to today. Basically, starting off with here, some UFO stories here. The U.S. Space Force, which is a new military branch created under Donald Trump's administration in 2019 to keep track of potential threats in space, has detected thousands of UFOs in Earth's orbit. Okay, once again, thousands of UFOs in Earth's orbit. DailyMail.com reported the sighting, the classified document, just on this last Thursday, November 30th, yesterday. So once again, they're saying that they have detected thousands of UFOs in Earth's orbit, and that was from a classified document. I knew I was going to say documentary from yesterday. The report, which was published this month, states the sightings have become such a recurrent feature lately that it's becoming difficult to determine whether the unidentified flying object, UFO, officially referred to as an unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAP, poses any threat to humans. The report was based on the findings of the USSF's STARCOM, or Space Force Space Training and Readiness Command. There are a lot of these shortened words. I just too much for me. Which has claimed to have found many UFO sightings in Earth's orbit in the past month. Amongst the sightings were also man-made space junk and natural debris like meteoroids launched by U.S. foreign adversaries who continue to launch spy satellites like North Korea's new Malagong and other covert orbital platforms, the report noted. The Space Force expressed concern that these man-made space junk have cluttered the large unwatched area between Earth and the Moon called the cislunar orbit, making it difficult to identify any potential threat and neutralize them. Space Force leadership emphasized the importance of finding these grave threats among mere hazards like space junk. The report by the USSF also uses terms like abnormal observables. It's Friday, folks, and patterns of life multiple times, but has failed to clarify what exactly they mean. The Pentagon officials have recently focused their attention on 5 observables they say are unique features, serious unexplained phenomenon. So basically, these abnormal observables, the officials have listed out 5 ways in which it can confirm whether these sightings fall under the UAP category. First of all, number 1, it's gravity-defying behavior, okay? Number 2, eerily low observability on radar and other sensors. So very low on radar. 3, sudden or instantaneous accelerations. 4, hypersonic speeds without signatures like sonic boom. And number 5, so-called transmedium travel between air, sea, and outer space. However, the document by Space Force, STARCOM, has not explained whether these established UFO identifications overlap with their own abnormal observables. So that's a lot to take in. And I'm not sure. One thing that I find very interesting about all this, and I'm curious what you all think. So really since July. We've had that congressional hearing on UFOs, right? And I've talked to a lot of people, and your mileage may vary whether or not anyone actually agrees whether the congressional hearings are good or not good. But I have been reading to you over the course since July these stories that we are finding, we are getting together more UFO, like it's becoming a lot more accessible. We are finding more people who are willing to talk about it. We're finding people who are talking, just there's just so much going on that you got to wonder, are we close to something here? Now, Representative Tim Burchett, who wants some answers from the Pentagon and UFOs, and he's chatting up Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, about the importance of this needed transparency. Burchett discovered his advocacy behind UFO disclosures during the latest episode of Tucker on X, with Tucker Carlson, and he accused the Pentagon in intentionally hiding large sums of money in programs dedicated to UFOs. Burchett noted that the Department of Defense has never actually passed an audit. The stakes in this particular story seem pretty high since government has evidence that we're not alone in the universe, that there's some form of intelligent life, of something that is creating these crafts that are buzzing the earth. Carlson said, "We don't know if they're from outer space, if they're spiritual beings. We just don't know the answer, but the government does know. But they're lying about it because why?" Burchett said that he plans on speaking with Johnson about the importance of passing legislation requiring the Pentagon to release more records related to UFO as an amendment attached to the National Defense Authorization Act, which, another abbreviation, NDAA, is still in negotiations in the House. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer helped introduce the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon UAP Disclosure Act of 2023 amendment in July, which would create a records collection and review board to determine whether something can be disclosed to the public or needs to be postponed. We're not going to bring in a UFO. We're not going to bring in little green men, but what we want is transparency. And unfortunately, we don't have much of that in the United States Congress, Burchett said, adding his colleagues too often get distracted with shiny objects. So I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting because, first of all, he's talking about the government as if it's just one big entity, like that's one mind over the course of the entire government. And we all know there are departments and layers and layers and layers and layers within layers and departments and leadership that don't, these people don't know their left from the right hand. I don't think you could say that the government, I mean, you can generalize it, I think, but there's just so much that I think, and I've always personally held the belief that the one person that the government, whatever arm of the government, whatever department of the government, whatever arm of the armed forces, one person they're not going to tell anything about UFOs to is, I think, the president, to be perfectly honest. I think that is the last person that they're going to tell. I think whoever the president, whatever party, they are left in the dark purposely. That the government is running its own show when it comes to UAP, UFO identification programs, any of that. That's my opinion. I don't know if anyone else would agree with that, but I feel like that there is, least of it. But there is the interesting story, folks, that I find very interesting of how Jackie Gleason was very interested in UFOs. Remember Jackie Gleason from The Honeymooners? And he had mentioned to President Nixon that he was really interested in UFOs. And one night out at his house in Florida, someone came to his door, and it was Secret Service, and they take Gleason to the car, and there's Richard Nixon. And they go to, this is what Jackie Gleason says, they take him to an undisclosed location nearby, and Nixon shows him a well, a UFO. Isn't that interesting? I don't know if it's true, but I think it's really interesting that Gleason had always maintained that was true. But it maybe the person in me, the guy in me who wants to believe is automatically going to believe. I don't know, but it was certainly one of those great stories, and it's a myth or mystery. Huh? We don't know. All right, folks. As we wrap up the week, don't forget on Monday we're going to be talking to Tim Rayborn about his scary Christmas stories. We're talking about 50 Yuletide scary Christmas stories. Please make sure to visit ghostboxradio.com to find past episodes of our radio show, and like us over at Facebook at Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken. Also send any comments or feedback to comment at ghostboxradio.com. Also, we just opened up a TikTok account. Go look up Ghostbox Radio _ Greg Bakken. You'll find us there. And don't forget to check out the best of Ghostbox Radio, airing Saturdays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. over on AM 950. Finally, whether you're chasing spirits or just drinking them tonight, please be careful. And we'll see you Monday as we talk about 50 Christmas stories that are very scary. Everyone, have a great weekend and take care.
Come on, you know it's true. Work is almost bearable when the Stephanie Miller Show is on. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has died. She was the first woman to serve on the High Court, and Sagar Magani reports after she left, she remained in the public eye.